And he got into a debate with Jehmu Greene about what was going on in the Ukraine, ostensibly, and the leadership style of one Putin versus President Obama. And what was interesting was Jehmu Greene actually made the statement that the Tea Party, she brought in the Tea Party to the entire conversation about what was supposed to be a discussion about how President Obama was handling the Ukrainian crisis and what he has done. And here is part one of that exchange. Roll it.
Jehmu, our European allies, what are they looking to us to do here? And how important is it to make the right decision to preserve, if not improve, our relations?
What they're looking for us to do, all of those things that Guy just said, to stand firm with the Ukrainian government. And unfortunately, what has been happening is we have seen bipartisanship take hold in D.C. in ways that are against our national security. And Guy, I hear you saying that, it's going to be worked out, but when you have the Tea Party folks that have taken over since 2010 saying that they are going to put our national security interests on the line to hold up support to the Ukrainian people because of IRS regulations, because of IMF reform, that is ludicrous. They are being bullies in the same way that Putin is a bully.
What? What? I don't understand that. Do me a favor. I need to, because you heard the question, right? Let's go back. Can we replay that? Just for the record, Miss Greene is not the editor of the Griot. I apologize. She's a Fox News commentator and has been recognized as one to listen to by a number of those. She has a history and she has experience. She was appointed by Secretary of State Hillary Clinton to serve as the U.S. National Commissioner for the United Nations Educational, Scientific, and Cultural Organization, UNESCO. She also served as the first African-American president of Rock the Vote organization, 2000-2005. And she has worked in many political campaigns. So does she answer the question? Roll it.
Jehmu, our European allies, what are they looking to us to do here? And how important is it to make the right decision to preserve, if not improve, our relations?
What they're looking for us to do, all of those things that Guy just said, to stand firm with the Ukrainian government. And unfortunately, what has been happening is we have seen bipartisanship take hold in D.C. in ways that are against our national security. And Guy, I hear you saying that, it's going to be worked out, but when you have the Tea Party folks that have taken over since 2010 saying that they are going to put our national security interests on the line to hold up support to the Ukrainian people because of IRS regulations, because of IMF reform, that is ludicrous. They are being bullies in the same way that Putin is a bully.
Okay, a couple things here. You remember yesterday I played for you a clip from Ted Cruz, Senator Ted Cruz, tagging Harry Reid, Majority Leader Harry Reid, for going after the Koch brothers and not moving ahead with business at the time because of this last week of the issue of Ukrainian aid. You remember that, right? Okay, that's one thing. Just to point out the absurdity of Jehmu Greene's statements. That said, bullying and criticizing the president, okay, I'm confused. If we look at the IRS was the one doing the bullying, if we want to go into that. And now we have the fifth taken by Lois Lerner. Again, Lois Lerner pleading the fifth. The article written by Hans von Spakovsky, currently available on the Facebook page, details how, well, in D.C., because she spoke to this investigation before, that she now claims the Fifth Amendment privilege. You can't do that. You can't speak to it and then claim it under the law. And so we are looking for answers there because the IRS targeted conservative groups. So that would be bullying. Wouldn't that be bullying? Yes. Okay. And I don't understand it. It's perplexing. She insinuates that somehow conservatives, and generally speaking, think that Putin would be a better president than President Obama. I don't think that doesn't even make sense. But we're recognizing Putin's actions need to be met with more than just words, and there's a history of weakness coming from the Obama administration. And our critique of that, and I would just speak for myself, in my critique of that, I would say that I want the president to succeed, but recognize that weakness invites aggression, and what he has done is he's undermined what he is supposed to stand for and represent, that being the leader of the free world. He's undermined freedom, embracing Morsi, pink lines, people of Iran, undermining our security and the status of forces agreement, undermining our allies like Israel, number one in that region, I say in the world. Okay, so Guy Benson responds to this, and this is just classic. Roll it.
Well, first of all, I'm just sort of astonished by the partisanship of Jehmu's answer there. I don't understand how this is the Tea Party's fault. I think that there are some unrelated issues that should be cleared out of the bill, and it should move forward.
They're not related. That's exactly true. They're not related, and they should not be brought into this conversation. But they did bring the IRS into it. That's ridiculous. And we should be supporting the Ukrainian government.
All right, go ahead. Yeah, I mean, if we're yelling about the Tea Party, the House of Representatives controlled by the Republicans already passed a bill giving aid to Ukraine. So I don't want to get into a big partisan food fight on this, of all things. I don't quite understand why we're doing that.
That's a good question. Bringing up the fact again. Why is this? Well, because when you hear the substance of what Jehmu Greene says in her defense of President Obama and the mindset of the left, you will realize that all they have left to do is to try to spin and blame and deflect rather than deal. Because we finally get to what Jehmu Greene believes about weakness and strength, which are at issue here, considering the fact that we have Putin annexing the Crimea. Okay? So that's a problem. He's looking to do that with other parts of the Ukraine, regardless of how many sanctions, by the way. So after a little back and forth with Greg Jarrett asking about sanctions not working, and he invokes Cuba and Iran, arguably not the same thing, which she says in Iran, quite possibly similar. That said, she gets to what she truly believes. Here's why the left can't really stand on substance. Roll it.
There's a reason that Senator John McCain got on the floor of the Senate and said he was embarrassed by members of his party, by what they are doing with responding to the Ukrainian situation. And I don't think, yes, he is a dictator, you're right about that, but he's not strong. He is coming at this from a position of weakness by going to force and by invading the Crimean. This is a position of weakness, and we cannot, as
invading
the American
another
people,
region and taking it away from a country is a show
or
of
Democrats.
weakness?
As Americans, we should not sit here and talk about how weak our president is and how strong this bully is.
All right.
Bullies operate from a position of weakness, and just by saying that, what the Republicans have been saying, the folks at CPAC saying that they would prefer Putin as president, that's ludicrous.
Okay. All right. What? You guys.
Okay, we're going to show them how great we are with. I don't understand. I don't get it. And weakness is shown by. Okay, is she saying that he can't really justify this, so he has to use force? I mean, there's a side of me that's trying to understand this, really. Like when a communication breaks down, and all of a sudden there's a fight. As a skinny kid, yeah, in high school, I understand the idea of, hey, this person's about to put me into a locker or do some damage because he verbally can't keep up with me. I get that. Do you understand that? Yeah, I understand that. Like, okay. You're weak because your position, you can't do it. No. You have to resort to force. And by the way, that's why you always should learn how to protect yourself. Job of parents to teach their kids how to protect themselves. Just a side note, overall. But if we're talking about the strength of the position and showing strength, and this is a man who is weak, no, this man is looking at the credibility of President Obama, and he says, you know what? He's not going to do anything. He believes war is the enemy. He believes nuclear weapons are the enemy, not the people that use them in a way that destroys life and liberty. So the weakness idea, what's the response to that? Well, sooner or later, the threat becomes so real that people react. Certainly Carter did, and changed his strategy on dealing with the Soviet Union. We even saw that from the worst president, arguably, before our current president, in the sense of policies and economics and national security. That said, 9/11 woke us up to a degree, but now we're back to a pre-9/11 mentality on how to deal with things. And you know what people do when they characterize what I just said? They say, you want to invade every place and you want to nuke Russia? What do you really want to do? No, I want a comprehensive strategy to deal with our enemy, to hit them where it hurts, and to understand our allies know that we are 100% behind them, and we will protect them through aiding them and assisting them in ways that are possible. Brain Durham's Nothing But Truth, AFR.